Hey guys, it's Femi with LandVerse, and I'm continuing on from part one of the complete $1 million land investing playbook. So let's just get straight into it. Starting with system documentation, your business operating system. Every process needs written documentation, not for bureaucracy, but for consistency and scale. Document these core processes: the seller conversation playbook, opening scripts for each lead source, objection handling framework, price negotiation escalation, closing techniques, and follow up cadences. The due diligence checklist, title verification steps, property assessment process, comparable analysis methodology, cost calculation framework, risk assessment criteria, the disposition launch sequence, photography coordination, listing creation process, multi channel posting schedule, buyer follow up system, price adjustment triggers. Now, this should also be in juncture with your local broker, and you should have these sequences for them as well as how you best practice. Now, for us in our business, whenever we work with a new broker, we give them our exact processes for listing a property and selling it quickly. And when we hire them, we make sure that our processes and their processes are going to be in 100% alignment. And if they're not going to be, then we don't work with them. Now, for any brokers that we already have in our Rolodex, they already know exactly what to do, exactly how to work with us, so on and so forth. So it's a pretty seamless sequence, and you get to that point by building out processes. Documentation isn't about creating rigidity. It's about establishing baselines that can be improved. Review and update quarterly based on what's working. And this is what we do. Every 90 days, I go in and see, okay, what's working, what's not working, where did we have a downtick in our business, where do we have an uptick, where do we see more business, where do we see less, where do we see more activity, where do we see less, how are sellers responsive to this template versus that template. Each and every quarter, you should be auditing this, because what will happen is if you let 8 months go by without auditing exactly what's working, what's not working across all facets of your business, then what can happen is quarter over quarter, your profits will decrease. And that's not what we want. Chapter 5, capital strategies and financial management. The biggest constraint on scaling isn't usually deals, it's capital. Understanding how to acquire, deploy, and recycle capital efficiently determines your growth trajectory. Now, when you're first starting out in your business, it's very important that you're using deal funders. You should not be funding any of your own deals. You don't really need to go get hard money on deals. You can, but you don't need to. I would suggest you use deal funders that are experienced in buying and selling land and have actively done deals before. Because when you do this, you're working with someone who's already done deals, and you have to vet and make sure that they've actually done land deals and they've done a various amount of land deals and they're an active funder in the space. If you partner with people like that, then what will happen is you're going to scale your business so much faster. And this is what I did when I first started my business. I worked with a very select few of deal funders who I had known had been doing business for longer than I had, and they'd actively done deals. And so when you're doing deals with people who have already done them and know what to do in certain situations, then you're going to be in a good spot. Now, if you try to go get hard money, if you try to go get a line of credit, if you try to go get private money, if you try to go get business lines of credit, all of these things are really risky for you at first if you're not working with someone who doesn't understand the land business as it is. I've actually never seen anywhere where you can go to someone and say, hey, if you take title to this, I want anywhere from 50 to 90% of this deal based upon my track record. I've never seen that anywhere. And you have the ability to do that here, and they'll fund the entire purchase and you don't have to put up any money. So utilize deal funding when it is time to accelerate your capital. Now, as you grow in your business, as you grow in your business and as you build up a track record, as you build up a portfolio, as I have, then you can start going in for lines of institutional credit. Then you can start getting hard money on deals. Then you can start dealing with private money lenders who will give you way less than just equity. They'll just give you, hey, 6% of my money, 7% of my money. I've structured deals in all these ways, and you can structure the deal that way after you've built up a track record. It's really hard to go to someone and say, hey, I want to give you 6% of your money. I have this deal. The first thing they're going to ask you is, okay, where's your other deals? The first thing you're going to ask when you go and try to get a 7-figure line of credit is, what does your balance sheet look like currently? And do I know that? Are you going to be a risk for us? Or are you not going to be a risk for us? That's what they want to know. So you have to have a track record of cash. You have to have a track record of deals done. And you have to be able to have done this over, for me, it was about 3 years before I was able to get different types of capital. So build up your track record, do really good deals, make sure to return investors money and return their money on time, and own up to what you say you're going to do. You do this consistently, then you'll be in a situation where you can get really, really cheap capital long term. The one thing that you shouldn't do, though, is fund your own deals. You should put all the cash that you're getting from deals back into your business. Now, financial metrics that matter. Track these KPIs, track these financial KPIs religiously. ROI per deal, sale price minus purchase price minus all costs divided by purchase price. What? You need to be tracking your return on investment per deal. You need to be tracking your cash on cash return per deal. You need to be tracking your capital velocity. How long is it taking for your capital to turn over? You need to be tracking your gross margin per deal. You need to be tracking marketing return on investment. You need to be tracking your pipeline value for all of your active current deals. And the most important thing is cash flow management. This is where I see people messing up because, the land investing business is a very cash friendly and cash flowing business when you're running it right. And I've seen poor cash flow management kill more businesses than bad deals, just poor management of cash. Implement these practices in order to avoid poor cash flow management. Every week, you need to be tracking your current bank balances, your pending receivables and closings in the next 30 days, your committed payables, purchases under contract or pipeline profit set to close, 90-day cash projection, how much cash are you anticipating in the next 90 days, and credit line availability. You need to know exactly what's happening in your business for the next 90 days, how much you're thinking about spending, how much you guys are projected to spend, how much you guys are projected to make. Most people don't know any of this, and you're just kind of like, you're running blindly without actually tracking exactly what you're doing. You need to be able to track exactly what you're doing to know where you're going to go. When it comes to deal funding hierarchy, the best of the best is partnering with JV funder. The best of the best is partnering with JV funders who are going to fund your deal for you that are also experienced deal funders in the space. Reserve requirements. Maintain reserves equal to 3 months of operating expenses, 20% of properties under contract, and 1 worst case scenario deal failure. This is not conservative, it's strategic. Reserves let you move fast on opportunities while others scramble for capital. Always keep cash in the bank. Always keep cash in case of emergencies. Make sure to do this. Most people will spend money that they expect to come in. If that money has not come in yet, then you shouldn't spend the money. Wait, hold cash, reserve. And sometimes, yes, you have to be conservative because things happen in the business and now we have to turn. Now we have to pivot, and that's fine, but that's why we have cash. Chapter 6, marketing mastery and brand building. In land investing, you're not just buying and selling dirt. You're building a brand that attracts sellers, commands buyer attention, and creates compound advantages over time. Positioning for premium deals. How you position yourself determines the quality of deals you attract. Compare these two approaches. Amateur positioning. We buy land fast. Cash offers. Professional positioning. Strategic land acquisitions. Confidential investment solutions for property owners. The first attracts desperate sellers expecting lowball offers. The second attracts sophisticated sellers who value professionalism and discretion. Build your brand architecture. Company identity. Choose a name that conveys stability and sophistication. Geographic Land Partners, or Founder Name Investment Group, outperforms quick cash land buyers every single time. Visual presence. Invest in professional design. Clean, modern logo, consistent color scheme, professional website, not a template, quality business cards and letterhead, branded email signatures. This is not vanity. It's conversation. This is not vanity. It's conversion optimization. Sellers Google you. Professional presentation builds trust, and trust will always close deals. Content authority. Become the known expert in your markets. Write market reports on land values. On my actual website, we do have several articles citing market reports, land values, what we're seeing in the market, and we position ourselves as the authority in our market. When someone opts into our email list, those are the kind of emails that they get from us. We're positioning ourselves as the authority. We're talking about recent projects that we've done. You can create YouTube videos going through properties. Now, this is something that we haven't done, but it's something that we are planning on implementing. And we have sent videos to clients. And the other thing that I will say is when it comes to YouTube videos about specific properties and touring them, discretion is really important to a lot of sellers, especially sophisticated sellers. So as you grow in your business, you're going to realize that most people like their transactions to be private, which is why we keep things as private as possible. So I don't really want to talk about what Jimmy sold his property for exactly, because he doesn't want to talk about it. He doesn't want to be on the internet, right? He wants to be a ghost. And so be very careful with that. Be very careful about whose information you disclose and how you disclose it. Leave out names. You can be vague, but just to show other sellers your proof of concept and social proof. You actually do this. You actually do buy and sell land. You want to be able to show other deals that you've done, so a HUD, something like that. That's how you build authority with sellers. Publish guides for land. You can also publish guides for land sellers, which is what we do consistently. So when someone opts into our email list, like I said before, they get a slew of resources, valuable resources from us, explaining how we're the authority and how we can help them sell their land that they've just reached out to us about. And like I said, you can build that email newsletter. Content will build compound credibility. The seller who's consumed your content for 6 months or more will call you first when they're ready to sell. So this is why the nurturing process is so important. There will be times where you send out a mail, you send out a text, you send out a cold call, and that initial line of people will be interested in selling. But what about the people that you have to nurture for 6 months? This is what most people don't think about. I think about, out of this line of pipeline that I'm trying to build, how do I make sure that I build this pipeline to last me months and months? Well, the best way for me to do that is to nurture them long term and provide value. So if I can continue to provide value and nurture them for the long term, and what will happen is as soon as they decide to sell, they will call me first. Advanced marketing campaigns. Beyond basic direct mail, cold calling, and texting, sophisticated operators deploy these strategies. The referral network system. Beyond basic direct mail, cold calling, and texting, sophisticated operators deploy these strategies. The referral network system. Build relationships with professionals who encounter land sellers. Estate attorneys, inherited property, CPAs, tax-motivated sales, financial advisors, liquidation needs, real estate agents, non-MLS opportunities, surveyors and engineers, distressed owners. Offer referral fees, typically $1,000 to $5,000 per closed deal, or reciprocal referrals. One good referral partner can generate 5 to 10 deals annually, and I've seen this happen. The digital domination strategy. While competitors rely on outdated tactics, dominate digital channels. This is something that we've actually been doing in our business, and we've tested retargeting ads based upon prospects that have opted into our funnel, and the results have been really good so far. Digital marketing provides something direct mail cannot, real-time optimization. Test headlines, adjust bids, refine audience. If this is done correctly, you will increase lead conversion significantly. Chapter 7, the psychology of seven-figure success. The mechanical aspects of land investing, from marketing to negotiation to dispositions, these are all learnable skills. But the difference between operators stuck at $200,000 annually and those breaking 7 figures often comes down to psychology and mindset, which leads me directly into the detachment principle. The more attached you are to any specific deal, the less likely it is to close. This is not mystical, it's practical psychology. Attachment creates desperation in negotiation, sellers will sense it, emotional decision-making, overpaying, ignoring red flags, reduce activity on other opportunities, tunnel vision, stress that impairs judgment. Instead, practice outcome independence. Focus on activity metrics, not specific deals. Celebrate the process, not individual wins. View each no as market intelligence. Maintain abundant pipeline thinking. When you generally don't need any specific deal, sellers sense that confidence. Paradoxically, this makes them more likely to accept your offers. Most investors think in terms of margin. How much can I make on this deal? 7-figure operators think in terms of velocity. How fast can I recycle this capital? Consider 2 scenarios. Deal A, buy at $50K, sell at $100K in 6 months for $50,000 in profit. Deal B, buy at $50K, sell at $70K in 30 days, $20,000 in profit. Deal A seems better, but if you can do 6 deal Bs in the same time frame, you'll make $120,000 versus $50,000. Velocity compounds in ways margin does not. This shift will change everything. You pass on high margin deals with slower velocity. You optimize for speed in every process. You value certainty over possibility. You reinvest aggressively rather than hoarding cash. Now, there's something to be said about this. You want to build up your initial cash flow pipeline so that you can consistently turn deals over every 30 to 90 days. But that does not mean to completely abandon, let's say, a deal that you think is going to take anywhere from 4 to 8 months. That's not to say to abandon a deal that you think will take 4 to 8 months and where you could potentially make hundreds of thousands of dollars on. I have multiple opportunities on the table like this for me now. And honestly, in the position I'm in now, it is better for me to take that opportunity, and I actually don't need it to turn over in 30 days. Some projects I have, I'm willing to sit on them for 6-7 months and make a few $100,000. But in the beginning of your career, you should be valuing velocity and compounding that velocity over anything else. The systems thinking evolution. Level 1 thinking, how do I find good deals? Level 2 thinking, how do I consistently find good deals? Level 3 thinking, how do I build systems that automatically produce good deals while I sleep? 7-figure operators live in level 3. They don't work in the business, they work on the business, building systems that self-improve, creating feedback loops that identify problems, developing talent that exceeds their own abilities, structuring incentives that align behavior with outcomes. This is not about removing yourself from the business, it's about elevating your focus to highest value activities: strategy, relationships, and capital allocation. Part 3, execution and implementation. Chapter 8, the 90-day launch sprint. Knowledge without implementation is absolutely worthless. Here's your exact 90-day roadmap to build a 7-figure land investing operation. Day 1 through 30. Week 1, market selection and research. Analyze 10 potential markets using the 6-pillar framework. Select 3 markets for initial focus. Pull ownership data for 5,000 properties per market. Research local brokers, title companies, and service providers. Week 2, infrastructure setup. Establish LLC and business banking. Set up CRM system. Start simple, optimize later. Create basic brand identity, logo, website, email. Draft up purchase agreement templates with attorney review. Week 3, marketing launch. Design and order first direct mail campaign, 1,500 to 10,000 pieces plus. Set up text messaging platform and compliance. Create cold calling scripts and practice daily. Build initial buyers list. Get a triple line dialer. Create cold calling scripts and start practicing daily. Week 4, operational refinement. Document your initial processes and workflows. Set up call recording and review system. Create financial tracking spreadsheets. Establish relationships with funding sources. Milestone metrics. 1,500 mailers sent per week, ideally. 5,000 text messages sent per week, ideally. 200 cold calls made per day, ideally. 20 plus seller conversations per week, ideally. 3 to 5 offers submitted per week, ideally. Days 31 to 60. Momentum building. Week 5 through 6. Conversation mastery. Handle 10 plus seller conversations every week. In our business is anywhere from 30 to 40 or more. Submit offers on every qualified lead. Follow up on week 1 to 2 marketing. Refine scripts based upon actual objections. Week 7 to 8, deal progression. Get first 1 to 2 properties under contract, complete due diligence process, coordinate first closing, launch second round of marketing, milestone metrics, 50 plus total seller conversations, 15 to 20 offers submitted, 2 to 3 properties under contract, 1 property closed, 3,000 mailers, 10,000 texts, 400 calls completed, ideally again per week. Days 61 through 90, scale preparation. Disposition excellence, week 9 through 10. Get first properties listed with local land-specific brokers. Create professional marketing materials. Work in hand-to-hand with your local land-specific broker to do this. And start getting buyer leads. Start getting offers in on properties. Week 11 to 12. System optimization. Analyze marketing ROI by channel. Refine targeting based upon response data. Hire your first VA. Document proven processes and teach them to that VA. Milestone metrics, first property sold, $10,000 or more in gross profit, 3 to 5 properties in your inventory set to sell, 100 plus seller conversations, clear data on cost per lead and conversation rates. Chapter 9, common failure points and solutions. Understanding where others fail helps you navigate around common pitfalls. Here are the top reasons land investors plateau and how to break through. Failure point 1, inconsistent marketing. Operators market aggressively when inventory is low, then stop when they have deals, creating feast or famine cycles. Or you'll stop when you're not getting the leads that you want in immediately. This is what I've seen so common. People will start spending the money. They'll be all excited. Oh my God, this is going to change my life, blah, blah. And then after 3-4 weeks, you don't get any leads back. And then you're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever. Oh, I spent some money. Money's coming out of my account, so on and so forth. You must stay stoic throughout your marketing cycles. The solution: treat marketing as a fixed cost, not a variable cost. Commit to monthly minimums regardless of current inventory. Consistent marketing creates predictable deal flow, better negotiation position. You're never going to be desperate. Compound brand recognition, lower average cost per acquisition. Set up automatic monthly campaigns. Remove the decision point. Marketing becomes like rent, non-negotiable. Failure point 2, analysis paralysis. The problem: spending weeks analyzing deals that should take hours, overthinking every decision, waiting for perfect information that never comes. The solution: adopt the 80-20 decision framework. 80% confidence is enough to move forward. You can solve most problems with money. Price cures many issues. Speed creates its own momentum. Mistakes are tuition, not failure. Set time limits: 48 hours for offer decisions, 7 days for due diligence, 24 hours for problem solving. Constraints force clarity. Failure point 3, emotional attachment to inventory. The problem: falling in love with properties, holding for unrealistic prices, treating land like collectibles instead of product or inventory. The solution: remember, you're not in the land ownership business. You're in the capital velocity business. You're in the marketing and sales business. Every day, holding will cost money. Opportunity costs of frozen capital, property taxes and maintenance, market risk and seasonality, mental bandwidth consumption. Set rigid disposition rules. If no offers in 30 days, reduce price 10%. If no sale in 90 days, fire sale to another investor. Keep capital moving as fast as you possibly can. In our business, if we're not seeing any sales after 90 days, well, within that, every 2 weeks, we're evaluating, okay, how many leads, how many showings, how many people said they were going to make an offer, how many people didn't even make an offer, and what can we do to increase offers? So we're offering broker bonuses. We're offering to match whatever that person is getting, whatever the buyer's broker is getting, we offer to match it. We offer stake boxes. We literally offer everything possible when we get in situations where we're not moving properties as fast as we'd like to. So you have to offer incentives for people when you're not getting your property sold as fast as you'd like them to sell. Failure point 4, undervaluing relationships. The problem, treating this as a transaction business instead of a relationship business. Burning bridges with lowball offers, ignoring past sellers and buyers. The solution, build long-term equity in relationships. Every seller becomes a potential referral source. Every buyer joins your disposition list. Every broker gets added to your Rolodex. Every professional contact expands your capability. Every competitor could become a partner. Send thank you cards, send cookies, remember birthdays, share opportunity. The land investing community is surprisingly small. Reputation can compound extremely fast. Chapter 10, scaling beyond 7 figures. In conclusion, the path forward. The land investing opportunity will not last forever. As institutional capital discovers the asset class, margins will compress and competition will intensify. But for the next 5 to 10 years, motivated operators can build generational wealth through systematic execution of these strategies. Success in land investing isn't about secret techniques or insider information. It's about consistent execution of fundamental principles. Select markets with structural advantages, generate leads systematically across multiple channels, convert conversations through value creation, not pressure, dispo quickly to maintain capital velocity, build systems that compound your efforts, maintain psychological discipline and outcome independence. The difference between you watching this video and building a 7-figure land business comes to one thing: implementation. Every successful land investor started with their first mailer, first call, first text. The market doesn't care about your experience, education, or background, only how you execute. And if you need help consistently executing these principles into your business, feel free to book a strategy call below, and I'd be happy to help. I'll see you on the next video.